everyone, and welcome to this very special spin-off segment of the Why We Disney podcast. If you are over here on YouTube and can see all of our beautiful faces, we have a special treat for you. The Why We Disney team decided that we need to dive a little bit deeper into some of the segments that we talk about on the podcast. So if you are subscribed to our YouTube channel, you're getting a little treat. If you're not subscribed yet, I'm going to give you a second to subscribe now so you can continue on with the episode. But the team is so excited to bring back one of our very special guests. We had them as a small shop interview, but honestly, guys, we love their love and their story. Matt and Alicia Larkey are here to talk about all of their Disney love and experiences. So Matt and Alicia, want to say hi?
Hi guys, we're excited to be back, and I love the concept of following on past just the podcast. That's really cool.
Awesome, thanks so much. Of course, I'm also on here with our co-host Kaycee.
Hey guys.
And our editor Sydney is on with us as well.
Hey everyone.
So we're just going to start off with some questions. Kaycee, you want to round some out?
Yes. So Matt and Alicia, we love your love. We want to hear more about your love. And you touched on it a lot on your episode of the podcast, but I really want to hear a couple of stories. So I want to first hear your engagement story. And if y'all could tell this together, I would just love it.
Go ahead.
Oh, okay. Oh
Look how they already looked cutely at each other.
I know.
I already got the butterflies remembering that night. I was terrified. So we were at Disneyland.
On my birthday.
On our birthday. Yeah. How old were we?
I just turned 22.
22. Okay. And I had been walking around with this rose that opened up with a ring inside. I'd been walking around with the back of my jeans for hours and hours. So nervous. So she always loved Snow White. So my plan was get in front of the wishing well.
Mm-hmm.
And
at Disneyland,
yeah. Oh my gosh, I think I blew it and forgot to ask her dad.
Yes, but don't listen, Dad.
Yeah, Dad's not watching this.
And me and my dad are like this.
But I did call him after.
Yeah.
And asked. Just didn't tell him that I'd already asked.
I was so excited, and when he actually got down on his knee and proposed, and we had our moment, the tears and all the romance, the clapping from the people standing around and all that stuff at night. And then when we were walking back, I'm like, you asked my dad, right? Because my dad's also very traditional, and we're very close, and he's like, because the poor guy was nervous. He's just 22 years old. He's nervous. It's okay if they're not going to get it right at that time. And so I'm like, I don't care that it's almost midnight. You have to call my dad and ask as if you're going to propose now. So we literally called my dad, I think woke him up, and he asked my dad on our way out of Disneyland saying he was going to propose. So he pretended on that little fudge. I don't think my dad knows that to this day. So
I was just about to ask, have you ever told him hey, we actually got engaged 5 minutes before we called you?
Yeah, actually, can you rewind and edit that out? Can you cut that out? I shouldn't add that.
Breaking news at this point.
No, but this is a good tip for any brides and grooms out there. Grooms, if you forget in the nervous energy, you can always fix it, right? Just like we can fix anything else, just fix it. So he proposed. I cried. It was everything I had dreamed of. I was just so happy because I knew I wanted to marry him. I didn't care about anything else. I knew we were meant to be together, and I wanted to be a wife and a mom and start a family with him. And it just was incredible that it was finally really happening. And I knew that he was a little off, but I didn't know he was proposing that night and in the park. And I'm, like he said, a huge Snow White fan. I have a lot of Snow White trinkets and things that he had bought me while we were dating. And so that was really cool that it happened at the wishing well. Aside from being in Disneyland itself, it was really cool because it is kind of secluded over there off to the side, and kind of like how Cinderella's, that's the Cinderella area at Disney World. It's just nicely a little bit secluded. So there wasn't many people around, but it was really special.
Much prettier though. It's got lights over there. So at night it's really beautiful. It's got the waterfall and everything. So
yeah.
And I just kept having to wait for people to clear out. People kept walking up. Oh my gosh, please keep moving. Please keep moving. getting right near the wishing well. So I finally had my moment, and I think I blacked out after that. So I can't remember anything after that. So I couldn't tell you exactly what I said.
Yeah, he's very introverted. So it's definitely, I can only imagine how nerve-wracked he must have been that day. I felt bad after that, thinking he's been carrying this around all day.
Right. I bet it was like burning a hole in your pocket. Like half of the day, you're like, geez, I've got to get this out of my pocket.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. Yeah, we have a really cute picture. Darn, I wish I would have grabbed that to show you. We have the cutest picture, and I'm all of 22 years old and holding up my hand with the ring. And it was just, it's really, and you could see my eyes that I'd been crying, and I'm all, college age. It's just really cute.
I love it so much. So not only were you guys engaged at Disney, and that is a magical story, by the way, I want to hear about your wedding day at Disney. So y'all did Disney World this time, right?
Yes. Yeah.
Okay.
So as we mentioned in the podcast before, our first trip together while dating was to Disney World. Not first trip together, but our first time going to Disney World, my first time in my life, was with him while we were dating. And so, as I mentioned, we had gotten lost, as you can, at Disney World on all those roads, and ended up seeing the wedding pavilion. And when we saw that night, and this had been probably a year and a half before, I think is when we took that trip.
Yeah.
Probably a year and a half before when we took the trip and just randomly came upon the wedding pavilion. So right when I think that night we were like, we're getting married there. Like when he proposed, there was never a second guess about where we were getting married, no matter what. And I think a lot of couples struggle with that. If I could just offer some advice for couples who struggle, if the venue is the place you want to say your vows, stick with that, even over worrying about what would that look like? We live in Arizona, so we knew, well, then we can't have necessarily a big wedding, because with family and friends, like someone traditionally would do in their hometown, and have 100 or 200 or, depending how large their circle is. But we were both so on the same page, him as much as me, if not more, that is where we were meant to say our vows.
We had to cut our guest list down to, I think it was 20 people total,
20, including us. So 18 plus us. That includes your wedding party, your parents, everything. It could only be 20. And I don't know if they still have those same limits right now. I think it's more based on you pay X amount per person. So you could go over that, but it's not like $20 a person. It's like expensive per person.
Yeah.
So you can kind of make the decision based on that. But we were so solid on where we wanted to say our vows that we were like, we don't care about needing it to be in front of other people. We just wanted it to be in front of that castle.
We even had a set of grandparents that couldn't come. My grandparents, my mom's side, could not come. They were not happy about it.
Mm-mm.
But we weren't budging. We knew that's where we were getting married.
Yeah. And we've never had a
exclusive VIP list.
Yeah.
So many people can get in.
18. How do we cut this down?
Yeah. So, and I would even recommend that to people too. If like I said, if the venue or where you want to get married is so significant and special to you, as a lot of us Disney folk, Disney is the heart of what some of our decision making is about, like where we spend Christmas or where we spend a birthday or a family reunion. I'd say just really stick to that and then work everything else around that, because I can promise you you won't have that as a regret. But had we gotten married here in a church or another type of wedding venue, we would have had regrets for sure for life. And I would just go on to say that. And I want to just remark, because a lot of people will ask me when we say where we got married, they're like, was it all like Mickey Mouse hanging out in there? And I know a lot of people have not been in the Disney Wedding Pavilion, so I really want to just tell everyone, it is gorgeous. In fact, I will post on my Instagram video inside the wedding pavilion from our 20-year wedding anniversary. I'll post it so that anyone who's considering a Disney wedding can see it. It is stunning. It's prettier than almost any church I've been in. It is so beautiful. And you have the pews and you have these beautiful stained glass windows, and you're seeing the castle across the lagoon. There is nothing, people often say cartoony is the word they use. It is not like that at all. It is a stunning, beautiful wedding venue.
It is, absolutely.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, I do want to know. So surely there was little bits and pieces of Mickey and Minnie in your day, right?
Mhm.
Like,
Yeah,
I know
of
it
course.
wasn't like full Mickey and Minnie themed wedding, but
Yeah.
I do want to hear about those like little, I don't know, details in your wedding about Mickey and Minnie.
Yeah, tell your roses.
Yeah, so not at the wedding ceremony, but at the reception, we had a castle. The white chocolate on top was shaped like Cinderella Castle.
Of our wedding cake.
But beautiful, not cartoony. And then later on, of course, we had a couple special guests stop by.
Mm-hmm.
Mickey and Minnie stopped by, and everybody went nuts. They danced for a while with us.
Our guests.
Yeah, they did some professional portraits with us.
Mm-hmm. We had our first dance together, and then our second dance was with Mickey and Minnie. So he got to dance with Minnie, I got to dance with Mickey, and then our families, of course, and we got to all do photos with a beautiful backdrop, and it was just so much fun. And we cut our cake with Mickey and Minnie, so you can actually go even on my Instagram. You can see some of those pictures, and if it's not there, I'll get those posted in the next 24 hours. Of Mickey and Minnie actually are standing next to us while we're cutting our cake, and it was incredible. And they came in, so we'd already been at our reception and already started, and they came in at a point where everybody was seated. So it was really exciting for people to see Mickey and Minnie come in, and you can choose to do that. We also did that at our vow renewal at Seabreeze Point at the boardwalk. We had Mickey there to cut our cake for our 10-year vow renewal as well. And I was going to say, tell them too how we tied Mickey in with your guys' what is it called?
Oh,
the vest. And the
it was the vest. I think we had the vest. Like,
yes.
Yeah. Well, it was somebody might have had cummerbunds. Been a long time.
Yeah.
but yeah, I think we had the vest lined under the tuxedo with the little Mickey heads all over it. So it's classy looking, but if you get up close, you can see the little Mickey heads on there.
They're Mickey.
Yeah.
So we tied it in that way too.
Yeah, it wasn't colored. It was just nice little black. It was just Mickey heads all over for them. And then, we also shoot Disney weddings. And our last groom, he had, what are they called?
Darth Vader cufflinks.
Yeah. He had Darth Vader cufflinks. And I've seen that a lot, how grooms tie that in. That's really cool. And then also our ring bearers had
they had Mickey ears.
Yeah, they had Mickey ears on coming up the aisle. And I had the bracelet. I had my bracelet and my earrings were Mickey heads, like diamond Mickey heads is what I wore with my wedding gown and to marry him. And I had Snow White underwear on under my wedding dress.
This is a true exclusive.
Yes. Hot take here. I had a snow cut. I had Snow White in the 7 drawers. So that's usually where I'll lose someone in the story. They're like, listen, okay, it sounds like a regular wedding, and now you're crazy.
No, you are not crazy at all. So I'm so glad that you said that you were going to post these pictures on your social media. Really quickly, where can these people who are watching the YouTube channel, where can they find you on Instagram just so they can go check out those pictures? And also, I would really like you to email us those pictures so we can incorporate them in our social media too. But go ahead. Where is your social media? Where can they find you?
Ours is at making.magic.happen. So making magic happen with the dots between. Come check us out there, and I'll post or even repost whatever has been already had from our wedding. It's so fun. And I know there's other elements of Mickey and Minnie or Disney that we had that I can't even think of right now. All the guys have those things on with that. I can't remember what else, but I feel like, obviously our wedding cake topper being a white castle, but I feel like there's other elements that I'm just not thinking of right now.
I do have a quick question for you guys, because we talked about the reception a lot. Was it on Disney property too?
Yes. It what's the club called? It's so funny. It's one of the main golf course clubs.
It's like the clubhouse where it kind of overlooks the golf course.
What's that one that's kind of by Grand Floridian?
Never been there.
Sorry. There's a big golf course across to the road from Grand Floridian, Polynesian. It's kind of right in that area. So that is where it was. However, last time when we shot a wedding, my bride who got married at Disney Wedding Pavilion, their reception was in one of the rooms at the Grand Floridian.
It's like a small conference room.
Yeah, small conference room at the Grand Floridian, because they also had a small wedding under 20. And I thought that was really cool. We were able to go from the wedding pavilion, and their guests could walk right there to the Grand Floridian. So I also highly recommend that for Disney brides who are getting married at the wedding pavilion. You just walk right there to your reception, and it's you get more time for pictures in between and all that great stuff.
Oh, I love that so much. And so like last thing is your biggest piece of advice. And I know you've given like a lot of little nuggets of advice, so it may very well be one of those, but if you can give one piece of advice to a person who is like wanting to have a Disney wedding, but maybe has some doubts or whatever, I want you to just speak to them and just give them one piece of advice.
Okay. Do you have it in your head?
So mine would be, they have several venues that you can get married at. And I think a lot of people, maybe to save money, won't go to the main wedding pavilion and will go do it somewhere else. They say, hey, we just want to get married at Disney. It's worth the money. I think if you're considering the pavilion at all, it's worth the extra money. It's something you're going to remember for the rest of your life. The pictures and video you're going to get from it are just unbelievable. So that's what I would advise.
Yeah, that's great advice. And I would say aside from just kind of the things I've mentioned here is, your wedding day. Are you guys all married? Are all you guys married?
Single ladies, all single.
I'm married.
Okay, Kaycee, you're married. So what's one of your favorite things from your wedding day that you have now? Because I'm guessing you don't have your wedding cake. I'm guessing you're not putting on your wedding dress. I'm guessing you're not holding your bouquet on a daily basis. So what's the one thing past your wedding day that is in your house or lives in your space? It's photos.
So it has to be
photos.
No, I do. So for one of our pieces of our ceremony, what Daniel and I wanted to do is like an act of service for one another. So what we did is we washed each other's feet. And it was such a beautiful piece of our wedding. Like a lot of people were like, wait, that's weird. And it's like, no, it's truly like humbling yourself before someone and saying like, I'm willing to do the nitty gritty. Like I'm willing to like wash the bottoms of your feet that sway in the dirt. Like I'm willing to do the hard stuff. And it was so good and also your question, what do I have is I have our tin pan that we washed our feet in, and then the urn pitcher that's see-through. We actually still use it in our kitchen. Don't think that's weird of me, but it's washed obviously. But like to what we use to like pour the water over each other's feet. So that's my favorite.
I'm so glad I just asked that, because hearing that is really cool, because I get asked a lot, especially as a wedding photographer, like what's something fun we should do, or what have you seen other brides do? I love that, and I'm telling people that is so cool. I'm all about acts of service. That's really cool. Thank you for sharing that. So mine was mainly like, for us, it's our photos, like that we've shared those with our kids and everything. And I think a lot of people, when they get to the wedding, you pay for a destination wedding, you can do a destination wedding for like $8,000 to $15,000 or something in there, depending on where you're going. But if you have a home wedding and a big church and a big reception and all that stuff, those can get in like the $20,000, $30,000, $40,000 ranges. So a lot of people, when they get to their wedding and they start like hiring vendors, they get so nervous about paying vendors for these things. So like, I already spent all that. And it's like, the one regret I hear when someone, if I'm at an event or meeting someone, they're like, what do you do? And I'm like, I'm a wedding photographer. And they're like, oh my gosh, I wish we had done pictures at our wedding. I just didn't want to spend any more money. And I know it's such a regret for people who didn't do it, or people who hired Uncle Bob, or their best friend with a camera. And it's like, gosh, if I could tell anybody anything, you paid to be at Disney. And then especially if you have characters at your wedding reception or ceremony, and if you're riding in the glass carriage, which we did for our vow renewal, I would just say, please invest in having photography, because we are, as you very well know, we're celebrating 23 years of marriage in next month. And you know what we have in our house is our wedding book, our wedding album, and it's got a gold embossed Mickey on the front, and it sits right in our living room. We see it every day. Our kids look through it. I get to share it with new people who come in and out of our lives. So I would tell every bride and groom, if you're going to invest in Disney wedding, please get photos, and please take the time to do them, because some people are like, oh, I just want like just the ceremony. And it's like, no, you want these forever. So I would say that. And as far as Disney relating, pay for the extra special moments. I will never regret riding in that glass carriage in my pretty gown. I will never regret dancing with Mickey in my wedding gown, or him dancing with Minnie. I just will never, neither one of us have ever had regrets. And we've encouraged our children to do the same. Whenever that day comes, you pay it one time in your life, just like buying a house. Just get those special things that matter to you, because weddings are like, you have them once and it's like cool and special. So that'd be my suggestion.
Good one.
Yeah.
Oh, I love that so much. I love your love. Thank y'all for being on with us. Sydney, you can round us out if you want to.
Yeah, thank you guys so much for coming. We had such a great time going kind of in depth on your big day, and we hope all of our viewers on YouTube enjoyed it too. So make sure you guys like this video and subscribe, continue to support the podcast. But for now, thank you. We love you, and bye.
Thank you guys.
Bye.
Love you guys. Bye everybody. See you later.